The first reason of the four reasons why I don't promote my book is because it's not that I'm ashamed, because it is what made me the person I am today, and I'm proud to be who I am. I thank God for being who I am. In the first pages, I'm having the asthma attack, the one that leads to my NDE, and it's so bad my oxygen levels are at 67%, if not 63%. And then as I'm trying to force myself to breathe, waiting for the ambulance, I'm pushing. And when it comes to I'm trying to push the air in and out of my lungs, it's not working, but I'm trying to push. As I'm pushing, I lose control of my bowels. So in the first pages, I have poop and pee in my pants. I'm totally soiled, it's embarrassing, you know. And then from there, the following chapters, I talk about why I started smoking crystal meth, followed by the downfalls of crystal meth. And as most know, one of the biggest downfalls of crystal meth is you're not able to get it up after a while because your mind's going too fast, and it's a mental stimulant. So, the first pages is of me, soiled pants with poop and pee, and then the first chapters are of how I can't get it up because I smoke too much crystal meth. Yeah, so I mean, what happens if someone reads my book and then all of a sudden they stop reading it? And then all they got out of it though was that I peed and pooped in my pants, and I and I couldn't get it up at one point in my life. And because my book is so embarrassing, I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about reading it. You don't gotta read it. Here, I'll just tell you what I got out of it. And this took me 10 years to get out what I got out. I didn't start speaking about my book until 10 years of analyzing what had happened to me. 10 years of research and discovering how I was able to go back to different dimensions and come back at will. So, what I'm speaking about in regards to my book, if 7 years in Tibet isn't good enough and long enough for someone to write a movie about it, then 10 years of analyzing my book is enough for me to confidently express what I learned from it to the world. So another reason why I don't promote my book is because I'm not a writer. It's a tough read. My girlfriend at the time, bless her soul, she helped me with the editing, and I needed the help big time. And it is an actual book, with a lot of pages, a lot of chapters, and it's going to take hours to read. So it's a legit book, but it it's still a tough read. Like after the third chapter, no, after the first chapter of reading my book, you're going to be like, yeah, he's not a writer, and I'm not a writer, but I did have a story to tell. And the story, because I had a story to tell, in order for me to write the book, I did have to write it first person. So I was just going back to my memory of what happened and writing it down. Okay, writing it down. So it's all me first person because that was the only way I could express it, through what I remembered happening through first person. So it's a tough read, but it's a necessary read to a point, as far as to the right person going through life struggles. It has. I've been told time and again, it's helped people out tremendously. So it's a tough read, but it's worth the read if a person is willing to take the time to read it with open heart and mind. It's not really meant for the public. I'm over here talking about, oh, I went to different dimensions and came back. I find that hard to believe, but it happened to me. So here we are, right? Oh, do people believe me or do people don't believe me? I don't care. I don't care if people believe me or not. It did happen, and I'm going with it. And that was 10 years ago. And since then, I've grown tremendously in the Lord, in spiritual energy, in purpose in life. So it it's my validation, and I use it for, it's my testimony. So if I'm talking to somebody about what they're going through with drugs or trials and tribulations of life, as I'm talking to them, and they relate to what I'm talking to, and I feel that my story is helping them, my testimony is helping them, then I direct them to read my book. So that's me directing people individually, one person here, one person there. So it's not about, oh, everybody buy my book. Oh, it's the best book in the world. I don't know that. I know that it's meant to help people that are meant to read it, though. And that's what I do promote. I say, when I do talk about my book, I say, If you're meant to read it, you'll find it. I don't say, oh, here's the link. I have links, but I don't post them because it's like, if I speak on my book and you talk about it, if I speak on my book and it reaches you, that's good. Then the book did its purpose. So you don't need to read my book. So, yeah. However, if people have read, seen my videos, seen my stuff I've talked about, and I go back to, I reference my book, in which case they've gone and read my book. So, and that's good and that's great, especially because, everything that I talk about, everything I post in regards to spirituality is based on my book. I also use my book as a reference for myself. It's a documentary. I documented what happened. It was so bizarre. And through going back to my book and looking at the similarities and the sequences of how things happen, using it as a template for the world around me, things that I've absorbed or things I've gotten from reading my book, after writing my book, after experiencing what happened to me in my book, I see life in a way that's awakened, and I can only express so much of it before it looks like I'm just a batty person. So but if you look at my videos and my clips, a lot of people, every time I post anything spiritual, I get new followers every single time. There hasn't been a time I haven't posted anything spiritually related that I didn't get new followers. So when I speak spiritual, it touches the soul, and that's more important to me than any $5, $20 sell of a book. The final reason why I don't promote my book is because it really happened. And because it really happened, someone else could also look at it as a blueprint, as a manual, or as a pamphlet. It can be a problem because, I'm in this NDE group, Near Death Experiences, on Facebook, and they have over 90,000 followers. And the majority of those followers are not NDEers, but they're fascinated with NDEing, and a lot of them would like to have an NDE experience. But an NDE experience means near death. But with my book, if you look at the synopses and the similarities of what happened, you could put yourself. It had to do with my asthma attack. So you could put yourself in a breathing. You could learn how to breathe a certain way that could lower your oxygen levels to put them to where I was. And also, I wasn't eating any meat. I was on a special diet. So you could look at the diet I was on. That put me on this. That put my mind, body, and soul in this tranquil state of being able to alleviate from my body. The problem with that is I got stuck in a different dimension. And I was stuck in a different dimension, and I didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden, when I was stuck in that dimension, I made a post on this already. That's the thing about my book, too. I don't know what happened or how it happened or why it happened. I just wrote it down. They were taking me somewhere. I didn't know where they were taking me. Someone that read my book saw that, and they reached out to me, and they were like, maybe they were taking your spirit or your soul somewhere to where they were going to re-inhabit the body that I left on this earth with another one of their souls. I don't know. And so with that, all I could do is analyze and research my book. What if someone else analyzes and researches my book and finds out, when it comes to life, when it comes to things, when it comes to abilities and what you could do, there's reverse engineering. If it takes this to go over there, that means if I do this, I could go over there. And the things I've learned and the things I've taken out of my book, I use for the greater good and for the positivity of the world. What if someone chooses not to?